In this episode of Sonic Mania, we be rolling around at the speed of sound. No, I mean this is the Mississippi King welcoming y'all back to more Let's Play Ocarina of Time. And in the last episode, we finished the Spirit Temple and got the Mirror Shield, fought a funny boss, and yeah, that's about it. Oh, and also the game crashed on us because, of course, why not? We learned the importance of saving the game. Of, like, actually saving. Never forget that, kids. And in this episode, we be getting the final heart piece. So, Airwalk, Benihana, Madonna, Japan, Tail Grab, Nose Grab, Moonwalk 5-0! Flamingo! I'm running out of Tony Hawk moves. But yeah, you can actually cheese this game by using the Lens of Truth. And in this episode, we'll also be getting some more Skulltulas, and also be starting on the Gerudo Training Grounds. So, yeah. You can cheese this with the Lens of Truth. I mean, I think it is still possible to beat without the Lens of Truth, but it is pretty difficult. And so this place actually gives us the final heart piece. In this episode, we will still probably be rolling around at the speed of less than sound. The speed of molasses? No, faster than molasses. But still, that's it. We have gotten the final heart piece of the game. And with that, the only thing that's left to increase our life is a heart container from the next dungeon. So hooray for that! But with that out of the way, now it's time to actually get some Gold Skulltulas. So, I'll meet you back at Zora's domain. And we're here at Zora's domain. And one of the things that I did off screen was I actually bought a couple blue potions. So that's gonna be somewhat useful, but not immediately, because of course, like, for these Skulltulas, you don't really need magic for this. However, I mean, you can use it for the Lens of Truth, and this Skulltula is one of the most well-hidden in the game. So, if you find this without a guide, well, props to you, man. This is not easy to find, because it's pretty obscure. It takes, like, the silver gauntlets, and I don't know how many people would know that with the silver gauntlets you can actually lift silver boulders, but you can do that. When you do that, then you can actually find a Gold Skulltula. However, that's not the last Gold Skulltula in Zora's domain. There are actually a couple. Later we'll be starting on the Gerudo Training Grounds, but yeah, that's the Skulltula. And, well, with that out of the way, we'll be heading to some other place. You see, I ran around like a complete idiot, because of course, it took me forever to find this thing. I was, like, running around at the speed of sound. No, it's rolling around at the speed of sound. But in any case, I still managed to find it. So, with that out of the way, there's only one Skulltula left here. And after we get that, then if I'm not mistaken, the last 5 Skulltulas are actual... You know what, I'm not sure, but I think the last 5 Skulltulas are in the Shadow Temple. So, yay, we're almost done. The Gold Skulltula hunt, like after we get to the last one here, will mean that we're down to like 5 left. So that's some progress if you ask me. Admittedly, the Gerudo Training Grounds isn't quite my favorite place, but I must admit I do really like the atmosphere in the Gerudo Training Grounds. The reward isn't really worth it, but since this is a 100% playthrough, I figure I may as well show that off. Because it wouldn't really be much of a 100% playthrough if I didn't get every single item. I mean, not necessarily every chest, but still. And with the Gerudo Training Grounds, it's actually interesting because there's a spot where you can actually use a lot of keys. Like, this place has tons of keys in it. And, by the way, don't worry if you use the keys wrong, because it is still possible to beat it no matter what, because they put enough keys so that you can waste some. And if you get all of the keys, then, well, you can actually get the reward. And so that's nice. It's well designed in that regard. You can't, like, lock yourself out of getting the reward or anything like that. So, good on the designers. Of course, beatable or not, it's still pretty tricky. It's kind of a gauntlet where various parts of it test your various abilities. Some are races against the clock, some are combat-based challenges, some you merely gotta collect a bunch of stuff, others you need to find out the secret of the room, so it tests all sorts of your abilities. And plus, this place itself is difficult to navigate, so you'll want to watch out where you go. It's like trying to navigate through a swamp while you're covered in icky, sticky stuff because
he slimed me.
And it's like, this guy is annoying, by the way, but, you know, I'm gonna take him out because
You may fire when ready.
Where was I going with this? I don't know. Conversations are difficult to navigate. They're hard to figure out sometimes, and planning what you're gonna say can be tricky. And so, it's often difficult to find out what you're going to say. Hey, wait a minute. Just like the Gerudo Training Ground, so you see, it all comes full circle. And everything I say has a plan to it. And, oh dear, this part is going to be a bit tricky since I ain't got the right item for this. I'll talk more about that later in a future video, but, suffice it to say, this is gonna be a bit difficult. Still, I imagine it is still beatable, but, it's still gonna be pretty difficult, so I'ma do my best. You need the right things to get through this. This is gonna be a bit difficult because I may need to think outside the box to navigate this pit, this problem.
Anyway, guess I'll need to speed this crap up because, well, this is gonna suck. You need to get all of the rupees. And you just, actually, you know what? I think if I keep falling into the pit, then, well, also I'm not sure what that switch does. It does something, but, I'm not quite sure. Wow, there you go. That's A+ skill right there. And the rupees come back because, of course, later you have to collect them all over again. I don't even need the rupees, but in order to... Damn it, this keeps happening! If I keep falling into the pits, I'm probably gonna have to add the Wilhelm scream to them. Just because, I mean, like, being a film buff, of course, I know what the Wilhelm scream is. A scream that is so iconic that its use has almost become an inside joke among people who are familiar with films. Just every time I fall, I'll just put in the Wilhelm scream. And I am going to be falling a lot because, of course, why not? This should make it easier for the later thing. I'll just hop over it or that to happen, you know. What do you expect? Actually, funny story regarding the Wilhelm scream. I recently discovered that NIIC chat can use sound effects. So, to guess which one I chose for the generic one. And what does that thing? What's the purpose of that switch? I digress. I chose the Wilhelm scream for when a message is sent in it because being a film buff, of course, I do that. And also for when it's disconnected, which is happening a lot lately. Of course, the internet just keeps disconnecting. I hear the aiming is a bit imprecise. Screw you too, Fire! Frickin' stay knocking me off the side, and then I fall due to my own stupidity. Why do I try to take these risky jumps? This is not very smart. And what was this? As I was saying, I keep falling. No, what I was going to say is that the Wilhelm scream is what I chose for the thing whenever a message is sent. And so for when it disconnects, which happens a lot, especially these days, but that's neither here nor there, the sound effect I chose for that was he slimed me. Because of course, that's one of my favorite lines from Ghostbusters. I don't even know why, it's just so funny, I find.
Finally, I continued to fall into the pit. Of course, I fall into the fire after having done that because I can receive no victory in this game without something happening that undermines it, like continually. Look at how many hearts I lost over that. That is ridiculous. But anyway, as I was saying, the sound for the connected version of for when the IRC client is connected is
You may fire when ready.
because of course. But I've been hearing that, and he slimed me a lot lately because I chose that for the sound effects. However, my shoddy internet that's been about as reliable as a house of cards, which is made even less stable because...
He slimed me.
And, well, that's pretty annoying, but it's not the reason that I haven't been uploading much. That's really just because of laziness on my part. I apologize and I own up to that. That is all my fault. I am sorry. But, yeah, I keep screwing up in these parts. I keep falling into the pits because, of course, I mean, I am the Armond White of video game difficulty. Haven't said that in a while, but it's true. I keep finding ways to somehow turn difficulty on its head and complete easy tasks with a lot of difficulty, like this one. This underwater swimming thing, which should be easy, but it's not. Well, it's not being easy for me. And on the other hand, I managed to complete difficult tasks with ease. Because of course. I mean, I guess that's what you get if you're the Armond White of video game difficulty. This part is actually kind of interesting. It's a swimming challenge. You see, without the iron boots, you sink down like... I mean, you don't sink down, you float. What am I thinking? No, you're spun around the room, so you need to align yourself with the place with where the rupees are in order to collect them all. And Oh dear, I am actually going to die from these things. They're actually going to kill me because I keep fumbling around a bunch. This is embarrassing. This is just ridiculously embarrassing. How am I screwing this up so bad? I mean, this is just ridiculous. No task should be taking this long. This entire video has been a bit of an embarrassment. I mean, first I screw things up by running around like a complete idiot before I managed to get the first Gold Skulltula of this episode. And I kept falling into the fire a lot of times. And of course I kept failing at that. And, you know, now I'm failing here. Well, actually, I managed to survive. I don't know how. But, yeah, I somehow survived that. And the reward for completing that is yet another key, and we will probably be needing that. But, this place is difficult for me. I don't know how it's turning out to be so difficult, but it is. Now let's not fall into the fire again. That's just embarrassing, man. Actually, I think I'm going to change the sound effect for when it's connected from...
You may fire when ready.
...to...
Get on with it.
And so, with that in mind, I mean, I guess I can just open this chest. But before we do that, I mean, before we continue, I think that will be it for this episode. In the next episode, we'll, continue the Gerudo Training Grounds and presumably finish it. So see you all then. This is the Mississippi King, signing out.